One of the reasons why I like to play Cities Skylines is because every time you play, you find something different and you uh, surprise yourself with some things, how some things turn out. And this is one of those times where it's just like quite nice. I was looking at different types of roads here, trying to see what would work and what wouldn't, and I come up with this road. And what I decide to do here is that although I started in a very flat layout and very grid-like, I went straight on into building something more it's organic, but it's a little bit different. Like it's not following that grid pattern that we used throughout the whole city. And this is closely related to what we did at the mountain in the last episode. And I quite like that. And with all that we had to do here in building this new suburb, I want to make it a nice new border suburb. And I think this is basically how you do it, right? You start first of all looking at your road layout, and obviously we need to make a connection to the outside world, and that's our connection right there. I initially thought in connecting this to the highway, and I've decided not to do it because I want this place to be a quieter residential area. But not just residential, I want this to be a self-sufficient, not self-sufficient like in self-sufficient buildings, but a self-sufficient neighborhood. And I started doing the road layout. Then I've worked on the pathway, so as you can see, I'm connecting them to the outside world there, just to make it easier for everyone to come this way and get into this area. So if you leave or want to go to the commerce area or the other residential, it's easier for you to do. And this pathway, it actually goes all the way around there until the left side, where we connect back to the road system. And all these connections I made sure to bring into that pathway, just so they have a lot of different options and they can also move around pretty easily. And I quite like that. So this was the first part for making this new modern suburb. And then I went ahead and lay out the suburb there, just following the road design that we had. And as always, I try to make it as neat as possible. And I look into some policies. So Old Town there was one of the main ones that I did, because not that they can, but I didn't want any trucks or heavy traffic coming through this area just for, I don't know, maybe we connect that later on to the highway and they start getting through it to make their life easier, and I didn't want that. Then I went ahead and put down some service, so fire service, police station, medical, schools, and all that stuff. So they have access to everything here. And then the next step would be to add some piping, some for water in there. I just fixed the way it was looking before because it was all over the place. And I noticed that we will probably need sewage very, very soon. So I added a new inland eco sewage treatment. And here I was thinking exactly about how do I connect this highway into that area. And then I decided, well, not really. I don't think this is the place for that. So next I want to look at what would look good in here. And I just put this park for, I think it's life and death park or something like that from the workshop. But I didn't do anything big, but I did add that big library in the university because I think that just fits with everything else that we have there. And I think that would make more people visiting the university. So next step, before I even put down the zones, I created this new bus line here where we just loop around this area, go to the university and back again. Why I went to the university is just because this is the easiest way for the bus to go around and come back. And to be honest, that was one of the busiest stops that we will have in this line. So I think that worked quite well, I would say. And then I start zoning this. So I start first with high density in that area near the services that I put down the city. And I went ahead and moved into low density residential and commercial. As I mentioned, I want all the services to be available in this area. And we have still have some demand for commercial there. So that's why I put it down more and more. I've left one small space there without anything on purpose, and we'll get back to that in a second. But then I've done some, I always forget how to call it. It's always like it gets a blank in my brain and makes my life harder. Detailing. So I went ahead and started detailing a little bit, and was just trees again. I think we're using the space here very well, and the road layout and colors that we're using, they work quite nicely. And I've done another park there, the baseball stadium, so they would look pretty nice. And I left it running a little bit for to wait for this to grow. And although our residential is too low, as we build the commercial and industrial, which you'll get into a little bit later, we the residential come up with that, and we don't need to do anything. So there, I just fill out that space with office. And I'm taking a look again on this area because I want to make sure that we don't have too much noise at night. And putting that NIMBY policy would help us with that. Then I took a look at the lines that we have through here, and I decided to extend that metro line into the office area in here because I think it would be a good way to attract more workers to this space if we need, and also to get everyone from this new area to other parts of the city. And so not just the bus station, we have the train station, and now we have a new metro connection in there, which I think, as you can see, there is a lot of people already using it. So I think I did well, and it worked quite well in that area. Then we still have demand for industrial. So what I decided to do was actually we have all industries at 5 stars now, and I've decided to add more generic industrial in there, but not generic. I went ahead and laid this out as new suburbs because we just had the specialization. And I specialized these suburbs into what they really are. So that one was farming. This one that I'm doing now is specialized in oil, because this is the oil industry. So doing that, all these new industrial buildings that are showing up in these areas that we just saw, they will be specialized areas that we have there. So here will be the ore industry. We have ore industrial buildings in there. So just making it look a little bit more interesting, and not just those big bulk main buildings for that area there. I didn't go too overboard. I just add a little bit, just paying attention at our demand at the moment. Always, if you don't know what to do, always go back to your demand, and you know what you have to do next in your city. So that's important. We are making money, so I'm not too worried about that. The industry area, the four industries that we have, they make us a ton of money. And just because I said that, our money just went down there. I didn't notice that, but it's coming up again. Probably we had to import some things, and that's why that happened. But yeah, I've just rezoned those buildings to commercial because we do have demand for commercial, not for residential, and that might be too noisy for the residential in there. But yeah, that's it, and I'll jump into the live mode and show you guys around how this all looks. Let me start by showing you what this new zone industrial buildings look like. As you can see in the farming area, we have work hard companies. So you have like farms, fuel fields, have another fuel fields with some, was that pigs? Yeah, some pigs over there. And we have this ready slice fruit factory. So that looks good. And if we look at the oil industry, you have some, like the buildings just fit in there. As you can see, Bob's plastic bags even have like a tower that fits with those. So it looks pretty good. And we do have some buildings in here, as you can see, the Iron Forge ore company. And I think we do have some, not here, there, yeah. So you have these buildings that will fit with the specialization that we have in here. And the last one is the forestry. And here, well, you can expect buildings related to the forestry industry. I can even find them. So yeah, I have a few here and some there in here as well. So we have wood is wood. That's nice. And those buildings, all wood is wood. Looks like wood's wood if it's famous in our city. So that's what we have there. Looking at the new area that we've just built, I like to look at this way. So we have two different areas here. We have this, what I'm calling the center of this suburb. And then we have this area with high density buildings, which are our offices, maybe, not maybe, mainly. And so these two areas will have high density and everything else will be lower density, which makes it look pretty good if you look at this. Yeah, so in here, as you can see, we do have this walkway or pathway going around the area over there, and we do have a lot of people using, especially when crossing to this other side here. So they are using this a lot, and there's a lot of people using this pathway to come this way. We have a bus stop here, we have a few people waiting, but everyone is coming. Look at this. This is pretty busy, this crossing to the tram line, and there is a bus stop there. They can go to the metro station, they can go to the train station, or they can go to the other side as well and do the same thing in here. As you can see, a lot of people using this line. This is the line that we just built there, and we have like a lot of people using. So I think we are good in the number of buses. We have 8 buses, 15 stops. They are mostly not completely full, but at least when we get here, for example, 71 out of 75, that's what we need. And that's working quite well. The metro station, let me see. I think I have to open the public transport overlay here. So that's the metro. And this line is this one, the Cross River one. So this is a big line. And as you can see, this is the final step there. And we have a lot of people using this line. It's all right. We could have less trains in here, but I'm completely fine with the amount of trains that we currently have. This is a long line and they would be waiting for a long time if we have some trains in there. So I think what we have is more than enough now. And yeah, we do have those services in there. As you can see, this is all built up now. The empty space, most of them actually, I've got some trees, so it looks a little bit better. What I could do is to get a little bit more. Let me do this. Feels like we could have more trees in here. Done. And then this area look more lushy and nicer. So yeah. How do you guys think this turned out to be? Is this a nice new suburb? The reasons why I call this modern suburb is one, the roads we are using. This is quite more modern. We have bricks on the sidewalks here. They are larger roads for smaller areas. So this has that feeling that it's more, I don't know, I think it's more integrated with the environment. We do have all types of zoning in here. So they have offices, they have commercial, high density. So all the needs are actually captured in here. And we now have demand for residential, which is surprising because we didn't have that for quite a long time. So this worked quite well. We do have a fire station. What I have here is the Institute of Creative Arts. It replaced the high school, so I quite like that. And yeah, so we have public transportation, a lot of accessibility through walkways, so they can go by foot anywhere they want. And this is a nice area just next to the university, which is quite nice. So if you look at this, it looks quite nice. And if I go out a little bit and maybe change the camera, as you can see, I think that new area that we've built, it looks a lot greener and a much nicer area than any other one that we built, especially if we compare to this area here. As you can see, this is some more grayish tone because we have just high density buildings in there and in a very grid-like way, but not as green as the ones compared in the middle of the river there, where we have our self-sufficient neighborhood. So yeah, this is turning quite well, I would say. We have our mountain suburb on the right there. Let's just take a look at the cable car in there because I've done an achievement for 20,000 people moved up and down. And I thought, whoa, this is quite a lot. And that's quite a lot of people going there. Take a look at that. We have a lot of people coming from the metro to there and from here to the metro station. And let's see how many passengers. Probably the 30 passengers will just go there. 30 passengers, yeah, full on. I wish we could add more cable cars in there because this doesn't seem enough. I don't know if we can increase the budget for that. Let's see. Yeah, we have more cable cars now. Nice. So that's exactly what we needed. I'll probably just do this. Go full amount of money there and see how it goes. We now have 6 cable cars, and hopefully this helps everyone get there. And let me look. That was pretty noisy, that area, wasn't it? And from here we have a lot of people waiting for buses, which is good, but we probably need to take a look at this line and make sure that we have enough buses running. As you can see, 59 people in this bus, 46 on that one. That stop, we do have a lot of people waiting there. Yeah, just for that one stop over there. So I might, we now have 8. I think we're quite all right with this amount of buses, but now we have more cable cars. So what I'll do, I'll just add one more. We have now 20 buses for this line, which is a big line, by the way. If we look at this is the line. As you can see, this goes all the way around this place. And for this line here, let me pause the game, close this. If I click on that, can click on that bus, I appreciate that. Okay, so we have a few people there, not as busy as the other one up here. Yeah, we have some people waiting here, and this wasn't quite enough for this stop, so I'll probably add one more and see how that works. So this is something that I recommend for everyone. Always look at your public transport. Always go back and look at what's happening there, because things change as you build more areas and as the area grows. So for example, we didn't have any houses in here, just commercial and office. Now this is full on house. So looking at the public transport there always helps you understand what's going on and making sure that they have enough transportation around the place. So I'll leave you guys here with this onboard view from the bus that goes through this new suburb that we just built. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you learned something from it. And I'm thinking about doing some short tutorials on Cities Skylines as well. So let me know what you think, if you find that would be helpful. I don't know if I'll just do standalone tutorials or if I'll integrate in this in the episode like I kind of did today, telling you how I built this new modern suburb area or how I look at my public transport, things like that. Let me know in the comments what you think, and hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, please like that, hit that like button. If you didn't like the video, you can hit that dislike button, but also leave me a comment so I know why you didn't like it and I can try and make things better for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.